Hey all, Steve from GuitarNiche here. So we have a patient on the bench here, lovely Martin, and the owner wants a little bit of a, how can I say it, a specific setup done. And I'm just going to show you well, I'll set it up first. That is the context. He has a physical condition which limits his playing, but he's been playing for 40 years and he's a noodler. He likes to play lots of notes and stuff, and he plays all over the neck, but he needs his action really, really low, which, you know, with a Martin shouldn't be too much of a problem. But he's recently come into a problem with this particular instrument. Hopefully this will be in the shot, but I'll illustrate it for you. So these are pretty light strings. These are white bronze, I think. And we're going to put on some silken steels. He's not worried about the tone so much as playability. So that's the background again. Okay, so obviously on the first string we have this issue with the sixth fret. The sixth fret is actually high. So by way of example, I'm going to show you how I determined that. Got a couple of straight edges here. One is my handy dandy, used it forever, part of an aluminum ruler, which is awesome. I use it for all sorts of other things too. If you pay attention to the other videos, you'll see this thing comes in pretty handy. Anyway, you should be able to hear that, and just your typical off-the-shelf measuring tool, fret rocker, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so you can definitely hear that, and it reduces as I go across here. I did check other parts of the neck, and it's just this one fret here which is giving us grief. So what I'm going to do is show you how I would go about addressing this and rectifying the problem. Because without this being dealt with, the rest of the setup for his particular situation is going to be compromised. Anyway, we'll get back to that in just a second. Okay, so I got the strings off to the side. I didn't take them right off because I want to put them back on to double check when things are in good nick. Okay, and then I'll restring it. It's all good. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to use my straight edge and make sure that the neck is in straight condition. That's actually really, that's pretty good. Maybe a tiny little tip in that. Got this is a 5mm truss rod adjuster. Oh, just a tiny, super tiny, like fractional tweak on that. Because the string pressure came off, the neck is going to relax a little bit, and I want to compensate for that. I want a dead flat neck to make this measurement. That's good right there. Okay. So, how bad is it? Okay. Bass side is not too bad. Got a little bit of a tip in it. Getting worse and getting really bad. Okay. So, let's localize it. Seems to be there. No, I'm going to use, that was my 6-inch aluminum. Here's just a off-the-shelf 12-inch steel ruler. And the interesting thing about this is, I know one side is, well, to put it in a certain way, this ruler has a slight little curve in it, which works to my advantage. And we're talking like microns, but I know how to, how to use it. Definitely tippy. See, that says straight. And then of course this is going to say tippy. Okay, so double edges, double your readings, average it out, it's all good. So our culprit seems to be number 6, thereabouts. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit it. Okay, this is my favorite hammer. Okay, don't be scared. I have one of these. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't get the right feedback from it. This gives me the right feedback. Whatever tool you use, don't say, nah, you can't use that because blah, blah, blah. No, use whatever tool is going to do the job, as long as you don't destroy stuff. It's all good. Anyway. Dead blows. Still there. Okay, try it again. I'll center this a little bit more. Make sure the strings are clear. I'll tell you this, it sounds solid and the fret end's not coming out. Sometimes loose frets, they will squish, literally squish the goo out from underneath the ends. Oh, a little bit, actually a little bit came out there. That's pretty interesting. So the end of this fret is actually just slightly loose, but I don't think it's enough to warrant re-gluing. This is the thing. If that went totally flat, I would re-glue it and say, you're done with it. Okay? Just to make sure, but it's not. Okay? That's not the issue. There's some sort of distortion in the fretboard. Yeah. Because that's like, I'm getting such a positive, it's not like tap, 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 thunk, thunk, thunk. I'm getting positive feedback from the entire span of that fret. Okay, one thing, it's only been a couple minutes here, but I know that the neck is literally moving without the tension on it. So you gotta double check this stuff, okay? That's good. Slightly tippy. I'm gonna knock that back just a hair again. Bear with me. Oh, that's a beautiful truss rod action on that. That's good. That's good. Tiny little bit of flex in the middle here. Tiny little bit. And that's, it's expected. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to spot dress that real fast. Okay? And just so we have, it's really localized right through here. It's a hot spot. Imagine like a dome, like a hot dome right here. Okay, so on to the next step. Get my trusty little flat file, just a tiny little file, right? Been using this thing for years. This is going to be quick and dirty, but it'll be fine. Trust me, it'll be fine. That's what she said. And we're talking, I would imagine we're talking a fraction, maybe a thousandth of an inch, somewhere in that ballpark. Couple thou, anyway. But with fine instruments, the gremlins will rear their ugly heads very quickly with thoroughbred instruments. Look at that. Might have to hit that again, but that's gone. Almost, it's still there. Here's a tip. With factory instruments, mass production, Martin is still mass production. If you're running a file over the frets, keep a finger on the fret. That you're concentrating on. On cheap instruments, you will literally see them, rocking back and forth. You go, oh, okay, those got to get glued down. Or if you can't see it though, you will feel it. You'll feel it under your finger. That's a really cool little trick. Anyway, let's see how we're doing here. That's a beautiful thing. That's almost okay. I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway on that for time without pressure. Averaging things out a little bit. Because I don't see the need to do an entire fret dress on this, or leveling, because the action is so low to begin with. It was a beautiful thing. By the way, this file is awesome because it's not flat. It's actually got a little kick in it, like this. And it's beautiful because it allows clearance when I'm leveling. Okay. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Well, I'm going to spread that out just a little bit. Another tip. Feedback from your tools is priceless. No amount of measuring, in my opinion, can compare with what you get through your senses. The human organism is so freaking sensitive and brilliant. It's amazing. What I'm doing there is I'm just letting the file skate a little bit, and I'm trying to pick up on any resistance under the file. The other thing is, as I work on the frets, they heat up, and then I blab a little bit, and they're actually cooling down. So they're in a micronic level. The frets are literally like they're expanding and contracting, but I want them in a natural state when I hit it with the file. That's almost okay. I'll tell you this, it's almost okay. To break out Bertha. This is the same thing, same type of situation where this file has a little kick up on the end. And believe it or not, I won't even touch this, and I won't touch that. I'm just going to concentrate on this area because I know this file, with its slight kick, is going to be able to tell me beautiful. Tell you that right now. That file, I was not putting any pressure on that. It was only the weight of the file, but the feedback I'm getting back from the file is telling me that this is a nice smooth surface. That's a brilliant thing. A spot level, very, very quick, very quick. Now, if I wasn't blabbing away so much, this would be done in a fraction of the time, but I want to make an example of this. Control the garbage. Okay. Now, so we're left with the process of, let's get that out of the way, of recrowning. Okay, this should be quick and dirty as well. Now, nothing here, nothing. I use light for everything. Light tells me everything I need to see. Everything. Nothing. A little bit. Of course, there. A little bit. Yep. totally where I wanted it to be because I'm using the tools that get the job done. So now on to the process of a super quick crown. There's my file of choice. I've had this for decades. And the cleaner, just for uniformity, I'm gonna have to adjust the lights here a little bit, and I'm gonna have to move things around. So I will just check here. Okay, we'll see if we can work with what we got. I need to rely on the light that I see because I don't use registration marker or anything like that. And this leveling was so fine. I can see, but from the angle I'm looking at the fret, where I'm leaving only the finest little line on the top. No marker, no tape, no encumbrances. If you're careful, this is how it goes. Well, if you've done it a few thousand times, helps. Okay, and that one. And this one, that one got a little more off it. Okay. Sometimes the finishing process too from the factory can have anomalies in the press. That's great. That's super duper. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so that's essentially the frets recrowned very quickly. Now I'm going to use Bertha. So this file is like super old, and it does more burnishing than cutting, but it still has a good edge on it. But I have a newer version of this which cuts like a bugger. Anyway, all I'm going to do is just hit the tops of these frets so that they're essentially burnished, and that center line is removed. Almost like, you know, like if you're familiar with how Gibson does their frets, called school busing, where there's shoulders and then a kind of a compound architecture to the top of the fret. And it's a natural phenomenon after the the crowning or the leveling process and their production methods. All right, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. I clean up the shavings. I'm going to add a little bit more. I hope this isn't going on too long. I might have to edit some of this stuff out for redundancy or just to keep things more concise. A little bit more protection here. And let's get that nailed down. I figured, what the heck, you know, I'm gonna do the full Monty here. Clean up the fretboard while I'm here. Strings on and all. Because I can. All right. Strings are going to be trashed anyway, so I'm more concerned about the body and stuff like that. So, next, I have some micro mesh. Love the micro mesh. This is 1500. And I'm going to use a cross cut like so. So the key here is that the tools, if you know your tools and your processes, you can get really good results, oops, without having to spend an overly, an exorbitant amount of time. Not that, it's not a bad thing. And for a lot of people, it's actually good therapy. They like the process of cleaning and taping and stuff like that. In my personal situation here, this is, I want it done. I want it done well, and I want it done effectively, and I don't want to spend an extraordinary amount of time on it. So anyway, so I went over the frets, obviously, with them. I'm going to use 2400. Not too worried about any kind of surface issues at the moment, because I'm going to break out my secret weapon. So I'm just making the fretboard nice and uniform. Okay, I'm going to leave that at that. And yes, I'm going to use a solvent. Gasp. Very carefully. Just a little bit of goop on there. All that's going to do is float the dirt. That's all I want to do. Float the dirt. See how quickly that went through? I mean, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. And then finally, oh, come on. Okay, my secret weapon. Brass bristle brush. Doesn't hurt a bit. Anyway. Burnish the frets, even everything out. This thing's getting old. It's starting to show its age. Very much like me. Anyway, so that evened out the fretboard. I mean, they're not mirror shine, but pretty darn close. And they're better than when the guitar came in. That's all good. All right. So I reinstalled the same strings, just took off the garbage tape and stuff like that, and got the strings up to tension, and put a little bit more torque on the truss rod, and I referenced it from where it was. You just keep that in memory, right? And then I torqued it back up. This neck is almost dead straight. Now, compared to where it was, perfect. This thing is going to be really super forgiving. It's going to have a lot of compression because the strings are so low. But I mean, if I had to guess, because this is super not normal territory for this type of application, but the strings are redonkulously low. But well-made instrument, and it should be able to handle it. So the frets are nice and slippy. Anyway, but that nasty point is the nasty. Sloppy. Anyway, you get the point. The garbage is gone. Okay, so on to restringing it and giving it the final dial in, and we're good to go. Anyway, thank you for hanging out for this long. This is Steve from GuitarNiche. Make sure you read the stuff in the description below. Lots of great free resources there. Check them out. On the website, there are like tons of great stuff to give away. And always play loud and have fun.